everybody, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am your host for today, Laura Lalaki, international real estate agent. And today we're diving into a very empowering discussion inspired by Halle Berry's statement that women aged 35 to 40 are just getting their groove and just getting started. So society often tells us that our time is up by this age. That's when our opportunities actually start for growth, success, and reinvention. And they're not limited, but a lot of people say that it is. But we know that couldn't be further from the truth. Women in this age range are thriving, building businesses, finding financial independence, redefining relationships, and stepping into their power like never before. So today, I have a panel of queens. I have a panel of beautiful queens here with me, and we are all in this age range. So we're going to share our thoughts with you about how we are dealing with this and our comments, because I don't know about y'all, but when I was growing up, I didn't hear this from my aunties and none at all. They never were. I wish they would have told me about hot flashes. I wish they would have, but they didn't. So we're going to share our experiences. We have Dr. Lene, our monetization strategist. We have Tiara Williams, our producer and actress. And we have Shalay Camillo, CEO, Vital Source Realty. I have another real estate queen on here with me. So listen, we're going to dive right into it. But first, let's see what the beautiful Halle Berry has to say.
I think, historically, women as we age, we just get old. Right? Men get sexy. They get gray hair. They're silver foxes. We're just old, right? And we're haggard. And society tells us or has told us that our time is up. We should go out to pasture. We're done with our baby making years. We've been viewed as that being our primary purpose for being here is to bear children. And when we're done with that at 35, 40, there's nothing left for us. Well, I know that we're just getting our groove. We're just starting. But women don't really understand that yet because society has told us something different. So they don't want to talk about being a midlifer because that means there's no place for them. They're not wanted. So it's about us women reclaiming that narrative, right? And changing the way we're seen throughout the entirety of our life.
Well, if you're the model for women getting, quote, old, we've got a great future ahead of us.
I am, and I'm proud of it. Aging is a privilege. It's a privilege to age, and we should see it that way. We should feel that way about getting older, right? We should feel like the crowned jewels of our society.
And that's how I feel. And that's how I've actually told people, I have a lot of girlfriends when their birthday rolls around, they're like, oh, I'm going to be 52. And I'm like, girl, you should be so blessed because I have lost friends in 20s, 30s, 40s due to breast cancer, all sorts of other things. And guess what? You're still here and you have a purpose for being here. So I have to say that I am very tickled that she is really talking about this in the public and talking about the things that we go through at this age and really setting the stage for the next generation under us to see that it's not so scary. So, Dr. Lene, how has your confidence evolved in your late 30s and 40s?
Immensely. You know what? My stepmom, she told me early on, I think when I was turning 30, like Katie said, I'm 31, I'm freaking out. Man, when I turned 30, I said on my stepmom, she told me this, and it has proven to be true. She says, in your 20s, you're trying to figure everything out. Nothing really matters to you, just having a good time. In your 30s, you're going to start settling down, trying to start figuring out what you want to be, who you want to be. In your 40s, you're going to start to do it. You're going to start actually execute and implement on those things. By the time you get 50, you don't care. You don't care what nobody say. You don't care what nobody talking about. In your 60s, you that chick. And it has proven to be true. I struggled with identity and just who was I and how I spoke. I got the Valley Girl thing going on and the forehead, just all the different things that I struggled with. And when I got into my 40s, I just relaxed in myself. Oddly enough, all of the things that I was insecure and self-conscious about were the things that I love about myself the most. Like now I love my voice. I hardly ever wear bangs. I wear my forehead out. I just fell in love with myself in my 40s. And it has shown through my work, how I show up, how I speak, how I do my business. And I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm literally just hitting my stride right now at 48.
You're 48. So if the other queens on the panel, I'll be 55 in February. So if you don't mind sharing your age, Tiara.
27 and a half, 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 half.
I mean, after that,
Mind your business, Lene. Mind your
I used to
business.
say I'm
No,
2027 or I'm 2025 or I'm 2020.
I'm 42. I'm 42.
And what about you,
And
Shalane?
I am 44 years young. And I feel you, Tiara, because I'm always every birthday I'm like forever 28. But this discussion is this discussion is actually making me rethink that, that trying to hold on to that forever 28.
Yeah, well, then I'm going to tap you for the same question. So how has your confidence evolved in your late 30s and your 40s?
That was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely evolved. I spent my early 30s. My mom died of breast cancer. She was 56 years old. So she was one of the young ones that died and didn't get a chance to age, right? And so when she died, I had just turned 30. I had just turned 30. And my life really did not start at all until I was like 35. I spent a lot of years in the grieving process. And I always had confidence in myself, but not really knowing yourself because you spent so much of your time taking care of other people and doing what the dutiful sister or the dutiful daughter would do. So I really started coming into my own in my 30s. But even as I look back right now, being 44 and looking at myself in my early 30s, I still was trying to figure it out. Like I didn't have my first child until 36. And you look back and everyone's like, why are you single? You don't want to have kids? Like these rude, are we allowed to swear?
Everybody in your business.
Yes.
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 Okay,
Yeah.
rude ass comments. And I think that in this society, men and also women do it too. They try to reduce us to what we should be in a box. Like, oh, you're not a mom yet? What's wrong with you? Or are you selfish? Like, why don't you want that? Or does no one want you? Oh, you're single. Why are you single? They underestimate the importance of in this day and time. We are so blessed to be able to have the choice and the opportunities to choose a healthy partner and not have to stay in relationships that don't serve us. So for me, that was a large part of it. The confidence thing, I can say that I'm still coming into my confidence. I'm still becoming, and I feel that viscerally, becoming the woman that I am going to be. And I feel like I'm always going to be coming. I've just always been that type of person. I want to evolve. I want, okay, what's the next thing? And so as far as the confidence, I think it's more about, for me, not giving a fuck about what other people think so much, because I spent so much of my life about what other people thought. And if I do this, what would they think of me? And if I don't show up for them, what would they think of me? And I'm actually coming into that space for myself where I'm like, I really don't want to give up. So
And see, that's interesting. That's exactly like the same path for me, in the fact that I lost my mom at 21. And you're just becoming considered an adult at 21. Yes, they say 18, but honey, we still a teenager at 18. So when I lost my mom at 21, I was completely lost. And when I look back on my life, I'm like, 20, you couldn't pay me to go back to being 20 again.
good.
These 50s is a different life for me. I'm at the phase of like, oh, really? That's what you think. That has nothing to do to me. And the phrase that always comes to my mind, and I've said it here before, your perception of me is not my reality. And so now I'm also stepping into that power in my 50s. And sometimes I think back and I go, I wish it didn't take so long. But the advice of our elders a lot of times tells us that we're going to be prepared, but they also say we don't have the ears to hear. And so I think that just means that we have to live it before we experience. So Tiara, I'm actually going to ask you the same question, because I think this is extremely important for everyone to hear. So how has your confidence evolved in your late 30s and 40s?
Yeah, so I grew up without parents, and so a lot of the way that I was reared growing up came from a community of my family. And I thought they did a really good job, but where I suffered is when you're nobody's child, you're nobody's child, right? So there wasn't somebody there to say, "Hey, Tiara, you got it." God told me that I was talented. I knew that from an early age. I knew I had a nice voice when I was like 7, right? But all of these talents that I have, there wasn't somebody to say like, "All right, this is what we about to do with you. This is what we're going to do with Tiara. I see all these special things." And so it took a long time for me to get there and believe it. And like many of you queens are saying right now, it's still been a process. I mean, I probably wanted to get in front of people and perform and do all of these things and like just say like write an album that I didn't start until I was 38 years old. Like all the things that I've wanted to do, I've just kind of like done it and been confident-ish. But it's like sometimes I feel like if I would have stood on business with who I am and who I am, I there would have been no question, but I questioned it. I questioned if I was good enough and if I was worthy. And so now I know that I'm absolutely, but it took a while to get here.
And it doesn't matter how many times people tell you you are. You
Yeah.
still have to step into it. Because
Yeah,
my
I believe it.
husband still has to remind me. Like sometimes I'll be working on something vocally, and I'm like, I'm never going to get it. He's like, "What are you talking about?" No, this is you. This is who you are. Stop trying to say that this isn't you, or because I suppressed it for so long, thinking I had to do something else. So as we get older, we start seeing that the other things just don't matter if you're not walking in your purpose. I think this is such a valuable conversation that we're having, but we're going to have a short break and we will be right back.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
Yes. You've been with us long enough to know that is your homework assignment. If you haven't done it by now, you should be doing it right now. So go ahead and pick up that little personal assistant called the phone and go ahead and text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. Yeah. Now listen, we've all talked about how we've stepped into our power, how we are feeling that this age is a good thing. I think it's safe to say we all agree with Halle Berry. But we also need to kind of talk about how we have actually changed financially. So many women at this age are hitting their stride. Like most of us have a business. We're doing really well in our businesses and they're achieving the goals that they were just thinking maybe they were out of reach. So I would like to hear about your financial goals. So Dr. Lene, how have your financial goals changed as you've matured?
Financial goals. I would say, I don't know that I have some. That's the difference. In my 20s and my 30s, I'm out here living my best life with what I got. In my late 30s and 40s, you start being more intentional. I hit that 730 credit score. I'm looking at what I spend my money on, how I spend my money. I'm sitting down and I'm budgeting. I'm preparing. I'm planning. I'm thinking about retirement. Like that's the difference. Like I'm astute. I am a steward of the good word and my money. In my 20s and my 30s, whatever. If I feel like it, I'm gonna do it. I'll figure it out later. Robbing from Peter to pay Paul and kicking it with their homeboy Simon. Like, look, we got to try to figure out how we're gonna make this all work. But now I am way more cognitive of it, intentional about it, and doing the work to try to make sure that my son doesn't repeat the same patterns. So where I'm not willing to co-sign for him, I have him on my credit card. So he also has a 700 plus credit score of 24. So I'm talking to him about credit. I'm explaining things to him. And that's not to say that my mom didn't tell me, because she did, but I was hard-headed and I thought I knew better. So now just trying to make sure that certain places and areas around money and finances, he doesn't have to make the same mistakes. So just being more intentional and aware, and actually doing something versus not.
Mm-hmm.
But see, now you're thinking about it. In 20s, I wasn't even really thinking about it. I was just trying to survive with a child and everything else. But then you see that is important. And I think a lot of that has to do with how we were brought up. I'm just going to be very honest. Money wasn't talked about in my household. So I had to learn things on my own. And that kind of made me struggle a lot before I saw the importance of things. But Tiara, you also have a daughter. So with what kind of financial habits have helped you, and are you also instilling them in your daughter?
I had Lauren when I was 29, I want to say. And so when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, I don't got no money for no baby, and I felt like a 16-year-old, even though I was like damn near 30, right? Even then, I didn't, I was still pursuing, I was here in Hollywood, still pursuing a television career. I was feeling like I was in the middle of it. I had done some TV, I had done some films. I was like, I'm in my bag, like I'm here. And then this baby comes and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I think that because I've always been like very, I just have been creative all my life. I was like, oh, we're going to figure out how to make money. So to be honest with you, for this whole time, I mean, really up until recently, I had just been just trying to figure it out. Building a business is like the hardest thing, because it starts like a baby, like an infant. Your business is your baby. And then you have to grow and feed it and burp it and take care of it and pat it and make sure it starts to, and at some point it starts to find its own legs and walks, and then you're like, I can depend on this thing. But that it takes a while for that. So I think the only thing that I've tried to give to Lauren is also positioning her in this industry. Her father and I have been just trying to make sure that she has her own money. There's been times where Lauren has had more money in her account than I have had in my account. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of that, right? Like, in the sense of, we're here trying to do this thing that we've never seen done. Nobody in my family has ever worked in Hollywood. Nobody has ever been a producer. Nobody has ever been a singer. Nobody has ever been an actress. Nobody has ever done what I am attempting to do. So it's like I'm feeling even to this day, I'm feeling all the real effects of being the first.
Mm-hmm.
And that can put a lot of pressure on you too, but it also can be exciting, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're having some great comments come through from our viewership family, and I'm going to throw a question out to you ladies who are out there. So, what did you feel you stepped into once you got to your 30s and 40s? What is something that you are proud of that you changed or turned around or you have accomplished? I would love to see what your comments are on that. So go ahead and put those in there so that we can share them with others. We're here to uplift one another and to let people know that you're not alone. Because like I said, nobody was talking about this when I was coming up. You just saw the aunties fanning and asking why. You just a whole lot of things that you didn't talk about in your household. So Shalay, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to younger women about preparing for financial success in their 30s and 40s?
Oh my gosh. So echoing the sentiments of all of you ladies about the credit issues in the 20s, literally just trying to survive. Every penny coming in was going out. Didn't have, had to create situations where I could save money, and then the emergency came and then you're depleted again. So some things that I will say to ladies. So being a business owner, and you ladies know, you really, that income can fluctuate. So if you have a W-2 job, that's good. It's actually easier for you to probably easier, depending on where you live and inflation and all that, for you to kind of budget. But I know for me and my business, like I can have a month where like, the bag, right? And then you can have a couple months where it's slower. So you have to learn how to budget through those seasons. And what I do, and what has changed my life, is literally paying myself first. Literally out of every commission that I get, 30 to 40% of it goes to savings that I do not see. Now, you have these seasons in life where you have to tap into that money maybe. And I'm in that season. I just bought another house. I've got money going out. We're doing renovations. So it's depleting that. But thank God that I did that because I have that money to now invest into this other property. But definitely paying yourself first and putting money away. Definitely consuming and spending less. We don't need all the shit that we think we need. We really don't. Literally, I have stuff around my house and I'm like, I'm about to put this on Macari. If I could just find 5 to 10 minutes a day so I can put this stuff, take pictures of these dresses that I've never worn and put them out there and sell them. I have so much stuff. And it's not necessary. I'm in a point right now where I want to downsize the stuff, right? So definitely consuming and spending less. I would say, especially if you are an entrepreneur or you're trying to be an entrepreneur, don't take all the deductions on the taxes, because that means that you don't have any income. And that means you can't make money moves if you don't have no income. You can't buy any properties and things like that. I had to learn that the hard way in the beginning when trying to buy property. And it's like, I don't want to pay these taxes, but saving that $10,000 is cool if you have another strategy, if you're going to invest it in stocks or something like that. But just having it in your savings account is not doing anything, where if you had spent that extra $10,000, $12,000 on your taxes, you may have been able to afford to buy a house or another property. So I would say those are the things that I would say, like consume less, try to save and invest early, like invest into stock market as soon as you can, get a property, get a home as soon as you can, multifamily first, if preferably if it's in your market. Get a life insurance policy, ladies. This is something that I learned and made a big mistake. I got a life insurance policy at 28. It built up some cash value after my mom died. Like I needed some money for the funeral and everything. I was trying to save for a house. I stopped paying on that policy. I canceled it and didn't know that after 35, you have to now do a medical. They look in your medical files. I didn't know that. They didn't do that when I was 28. And so they went in, found out that my mom and my dad had cancer and I wasn't able to get life insurance, and I'm still working through that. So if you get life insurance as soon as possible and keep paying on it.
Okay, so y'all heard that, right? That is for you. I hope you jot that down and go and pay attention to that, because that is a very important thing in your financial life. It's really easy to say that you'll do it tomorrow. And that's one thing I've learned more than anything in the last 2 years of losing my sisters is I don't say I'm going to do it tomorrow anymore. If it doesn't get done in one day, I'm like, okay, it just didn't get done today. I'll plan for something. But I will never just say, oh, I'll just put that off till tomorrow, because you never know if tomorrow is going to be here or not. So that is sound advice. We also have a couple of people who commented. So we have Linda who said stocks, bonds, and mutual fund investing. So she's got something that she is completely gotten into as she's gotten older. And then we always have Big Mac. He's always here supporting us. He says he knows what we're capable of, ladies, and he's giving us a big old cheerleader in the back because he always loves on us. He says, I will personally say this. I have always been around successful, smart Black women, so I know what you all are capable of, and I have the utmost respect and admiration for you all. We appreciate you, Big Mac. You're here every day supporting us. So we still have things to talk about, and hopefully you're getting what you need from us. Maybe it's just sisterhood. Maybe us just sharing. The aunties need to share with you as well as others underneath us so that we can sow into your life. But we're going to be right back after this commercial.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
Get your money right. Get your money right. flynubianmoney.com. Why? Because we love you. And you know why? Because we give you the free resources for you to get on the right path to get your finances in order. As you can see, we just talked about things that we have learned and maybe wish we would have learned a little bit earlier. Well, we're gifting those to you. So you need to go to that website, flynubianmoney.com, and get your money right and get your money tight. Now, listen, I want to put up a couple of slides of our beautiful women that we know that are aging like fine wine. And you couldn't tell me if you didn't know what their ages are before now, because they are aging with beauty. Kerry Washington is 47. Can you even believe that? Look how gorgeous she is. Naomi Harris is 48 and Rashida Jones is 48. So these powerful women are still doing it in Hollywood. Beyonce is now 43. Tyra Banks is 50 and Eve is 46. Like, these ladies are really doing it. Now listen, the Angela Bassett thing is blowing my mind. So, but first, Viola Davis is 59, but Angela Bassett is 66. And I've actually seen her in Hollywood, ran into her as she was going to a doctor's appointment. And baby, when I ran up on her, I lost my breath. She didn't have no makeup on. She had a cap on, and I was like, how beautiful is she? And she just radiated beauty from inside. And Shaka Khan, we cannot, damn. Shaka Khan is 71 years young. She still out here touring. She is still out here doing music. She is still out here doing the Shaka Khan thing. But I also want to hear what Halle Berry has to say. She has more to say. So let's check this out and see if this applies to us as well.
First of all, I found out I was in menopause in the most horrific way. I was diagnosed with with herpes instead of a menopausal symptom. And that got me awakened to the idea that if I had this little information, I wonder what millions of other women don't have.
Yeah.
And I know that I said, I'm going to stand up for me. And when I stand up for me, I know I'm going to help other people. And then it just started snowballing. And I realized that only we women can destigmatize this by talking about it.
Yes.
Making it okay. Talking about it with our husbands, our partners, our sons, our co-workers. We have to give them permission to talk about it also.
And aging is okay, I say.
Yes.
Aging to me is living.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, I think so too.
Privilege
I think
to
so
age,
too.
right? And we
So
have
what
to,
are we holding on to? Yeah.
Well, we have to stop, as we age, we have to stop believing that we have to stay eternally 30. We're turning into monsters. Trying to stay eternally 30. We have to realize that we're greater than the shell that we're walking around in. And when men age, they become wise. They become silver foxes. We just get old. Right? We have to change that, though, as women. We have to decide to grow old gracefully and naturally and stop trying to diminish ourselves and stay forever young. It's just not possible.
That's right. It's a blessing. And I know she also mentioned that when she was misdiagnosed with that, she went home to her partner, who happens to be Van Hunt, and she kind of looked at him side-eye like, are you doing something that I don't know about? And he was like, are you? Because they're pretty dedicated to one another. But she had to have that hard conversation with being misdiagnosed. So we're going to shift gears and we're going to talk about relationships. Whether you're married, dating, or single, this stage of life brings unique challenges and opportunities. And I will tell you that my poor husband just steps right on in when he sees that I have them hot flashes. He'll walk and say, you're having a hot flash. He will bring me some water. He will bring me a fan. He knows that I just have to lay there and just be this. We have that kind of relationship. He knew me when I was 20, so now he's going through this with me as well. The gray hairs, I have a few. I think gray hair is beautiful. So, he's like, oh, you're starting to get some time. And I'm like, yes, we embrace it both. But Dr. Lene, how has your perspective on love and relationships changed in your 30s and 40s?
That's a great question. I would like to say that I'm wiser, I'm more patient, I'm more calm and flexible as I'm having a crazy text message argument at the moment. But overall good. I'm in a heated morning of relationship this morning, but really good. Like I think we had a conversation last week. I have some girls that are younger than me, and I am literally talking to them about things I wish I would have done differently when I was younger. Then now that I've gotten older and matured, I'm like, dang, I probably could have did a couple of things differently. So I think I'm wiser. I'm definitely more patient. I'm not as hard and rough around the edges as I used to be. I'm still I had to give up alpha. I don't want to be alpha female anymore. I lean more into strong, brilliant, not aggressive, just knowledgeable and leader, right? And so with some of those things, some of it was just not letting society dictate what it means to be a strong Black woman. And so now I'm trying to talk to some of these younger girls in their 30s and 40s, because the world and society and friends will have you act in a certain kind of way. And then when you get older, you're like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Maybe I should have handled that a little bit differently. It's not that you can't be strong. You can't be go out ambitious and do the things that you want to do, but you can temper some of that stuff. There's a lot of women younger, they're like, I don't need a man, I can do it by myself. But you don't really want to do it by yourself. Like that. Why do you say that? It's not that you can or you can't. Do you want to? If you really ask one of that in their 30s and 40s, well, no, I don't. But then say what it is. Like, we just get caught up in things when we're younger that when we get older, we can look at it and be like, that was crazy.
Right? Yeah, there are some things I'm like, did I really do that? But it's a part of learning, I think, and we have to actually also start to kind of learn to love ourselves, and that spills over into any kind of relationship that we create after that, when we accept ourselves for that. So Tiara, for single women, what advice do you share about dating in this phase of life?
I don't share. I don't share advice. Somebody needs to give me advice. Listen, I think we talked about this. Like, the dating pool got some sewage in it. There's a little shit floating around in it. Like, I have not given anybody any advice about dating or relationships. I guess relationships in terms of like I don't want, not a man, no, but I would say I'm just playing. I would say that the caliber of man that you look for, it's very important to have a good quality man. Like, what used to appeal to me when in my 20s is not necessarily what appeals to me now. It's not what I'm looking for. What I needed then, muscles, or him to have a beard, or whatever it was that I was looking for when I was young, I don't necessarily need that today. So that's what I would say. I would say just look for character and quality. And he still got to be fine, but he can only be fine to me. One of the things it says on my dating profile, and it's so funny because men always hit me up and I forget that I say it, but I was just like, I tell them, like, I'm looking for a man that's available and emotionally available and communicative and, has a good spirit. I prefer a man that doesn't use filters. I was like, brothers, just, if you ugly, it's cool. I might like your personality. Like, literally, I just want to be honest and authentic and real. I want something real.
Yeah, and I think that changes a lot too. Like, when we're younger, we, like you said, you kind of looking at, and you had a different type of thing. But you know what? To me, it just matters what you are inside and how you treat me. And I've always been teased because I would like the guy who was the nerdy one in high school or whatever. I was always the one who liked the weird stuff. And as y'all can see, I'm showing my 54. I'm burning up. So that just happens as a part of life. So I'm going to actually ask you the same thing, Shalay. So what would you tell the younger women right now about the dating scene?
So, Tiara, you have me cracking up because it's okay. So my perspective on the dating scene is evolving currently because I haven't really been on the dating scene. So I have young children. My daughters are 7 and 2. So I'm just now kind of getting out into the dating scene and haven't had dated, for years. It is different. And I'm seeing the little, turds and stuff that are in the water and stuff like that. And I think that it's an interesting thing because on one hand, I'm an optimist. I'm optimistic. I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'm in my prime. So I know there are men out there who are in their prime, who are emotionally available and financially stable and want to come into a relationship and want to love a woman in a healthy way. And I know those men are out there because I haven't been tainted to the point where I'm like, oh, there's no good men out there. I've
Right.
experienced it and I know they're out there. But then on the other hand, so I kind of just went through kind of like a dating situation where everything is not as it seems. And it's so important to slow things down. This is the advice that I'm going to give from what I just kind of experienced. Slow things down. Sometimes things can seem like, oh my goodness, this is everything that I wanted, but remembering that the devil listening to what you want too. So slow things down. See how this person handles conflict. Can they handle conflict with you? How do they react in a conflict situation? Because it's very easy for things to be going along swimmingly when everything is fun. How do they handle real life situations with you? Slow things down. And also look for character. Ask subconscious questions. Ask questions about their past. Because in this specific scenario, I don't let anything slide, right? I asked all the questions, and those yellow flags and those questions that I was like, let me ask this, ended up being what caused the demise of the situation, right? And sometimes it's like, you don't have enough data, but keep it in your back pocket. When you see the yellow flags, address them and see exactly how that person is handling you addressing that situation, and just flag it. Just know that it's there. Do not ignore it. Do not address it. Flag it, because things that were yellow flags ended up being the red flags, right? But you don't know that in the beginning until you have enough experience with that person to be like, oh, this is a pattern. Oh, I got enough data now. I know what's going on. I get it. And when someone shows you exactly who they are, believe it. As hurtful as that might be and everything, believe it. I would also say keep the intimacy, the physical intimacy out of the situation until you are convinced that this person wants the same thing that you want and they're committed to a healthy relationship with you and they want to move forward in that direction and go to the next step.
I agree. Now, I've spoken to you single ladies, but I wanted to tell you from a married aspect, one thing that we tend to forget, we always focus on ourselves, but you have to understand that your partner is also growing as well. So sometimes your directions may not necessarily be on the same path because some of their paths are a tad bit different, but you learn how to work them together. But you have to take into account, not only are you taking care of yourself, but you also have to love yourself enough to know that you also have a partner that you must love enough to let them grow too. It can't always be your way or the highway. You have to learn to be able to be your beings, but then be your beings together. And that is so very important. And when you're feeling left out, we have a code. Like if something happens and I feel like he's way off, because when he gets into album writing mode, I don't see him much. So that's when I have to go, the wife would like to spend some time with you. And we have that agreement where he's like, okay, gotta put it down. We need to go to lunch or we need to be together. You have to know that even though you're two separate people, you're still one, and you have to honor each other in that way. But I do want to touch on how society treats us as we are growing and embracing ourselves as we get older. It seems like society wants to put labels on us, especially the social and corporate world. And we want to talk about how this looks for us as we age. So let's look at a little bit of the career and gender bias that we experience. Research shows that women start to experience ageism as early as 40 due to a combination of societal beauty standards, workplace biases, cultural gender expectations, and biological changes, all of which intersects at this critical age. And, they also know that we're in the middle here. We may still have kids at home, and we also have aging parents. So they think about that. So a study from GoBank rates adults over the age of 45 shows 45% of older workers say age discrimination is common. And not only that, we're talking about the pay, because they know that your stuff at this age, right? But they know they can get the young ones who are just coming into the corporate world and pay them less. So these are some of the societal things and workforce things that we face and have to deal with as we do that. Now, before we go to break, I'm also going to throw in something a little political because it does fit here. In this administration, they have made it very, very clear that women our age need to be the grandmamas at home taking care of the children's babies. So these new norms for people, this political thing that's been stepping in is now trying to put us back in what they call our place. And I know that I have said a lot, but I'm gonna make you breathe on that one because we got the commercial. We'll be right back.
Let me smoke some individual
Fly Nubian
stuff.
Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and reviews so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
Okay. You have your assignments. Listen, commercial breaks give you assignments. So make sure that if you want to be on the panel, you got a lot to say, you want your voice to be heard, you just need to email us at info@realvirtual.net. Just let us know you want to join us and we will get back with you on that. But another thing we want to remind you of, like she said, if you miss us, you sure can take us on the road with Spotify. So make sure that you go to Spotify and you look for Fly Nubian Money. You give us 5 stars so that other people can also find us and take us on the road with them too. Thank you. I hope that you've done your assignment. Now, listen, I do want to throw in a little wrench here because as we get older, we change. Our bodies change. Our faces change. Sometimes, we go through things that make us not look the same. And so one of the first things that society expects of us is to be beautiful 24/7, but their standard of beauty. So you hear a lot of women who do a lot of the plastic surgery because they feel the pressure. And I haven't really seen very many that have turned out well. So Dr. Lene, I want to ask you if you ever felt like you needed to be pressured into changing your looks for society.
No, I wouldn't say pressured to change my looks for society. When I was younger, I was like an ugly duckling. So I started wearing makeup early. And I think that as I have gotten older, I want to wear less makeup. Like I want to be as close to my most natural self. So I'm not pressured in that way. I am pressured to be healthy, but that's not a societal thing. I just don't want to age and try to do it when I get older. I want to be 50 fine. Like I want to still be together. I don't want to fall off, right? So I think a lot of my pressures are coming from myself. When you think about the traditional grandmother, right? I am 48. My mom was a grandmother already by my age. I made her a grandmother already by this age. And I remember growing up and spending summers at my grandma's house and doing the grandma thing. Grandparents, they don't do that anymore today because we active. We outside too. You outside, I'm outside. So I'm more motivated to be healthy, not necessarily to go under the knife, but to make sure that I look good and I feel good. And I'll tell you this, I'm not even worried about looking good in my clothes. I'm worried about looking good naked. Like that's what I want to make sure. When I see myself eye to eye, do I feel good in my skin? Do I feel healthy? Can I get up and down stairs myself? You can't get surgery for that. I can get surgery. And I want to see some of these surgeries when these fools are 70 years old walking around with these BBLs. Like, I don't want that for me.
They're already sagging. But actually, I also heard that they don't smell so good either. So that's a side note.
That's for me. Now, if somebody else like it, if you like it, I love it. That's what they say. If you like it, I love it. It's just not for me.
Right. But Tiara, you're in Hollywood. You do a lot with the entertainment industry. So I'm going to ask you that same question. Do you feel like, has someone ever kind of pressured you to look a certain way, or have you ever even thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, when I start working with an agent, like a bigger agent, there was a suggestion for a boob job. You know, there's in Hollywood, those are small suggestions. So I can only imagine when you're at the top of the food chain and in your on your game, like when you're really, you know, on television regularly. Like women do it all the time. They go to Dr. Truesdale, who is amazing, by the way, and not that I've gotten, but I've seen his work. But they'll go for an afternoon, and you know, it's an afternoon little like lift, and then they'll go back to work. You know, and so it is something that I see often here, and I think for the most part, when you can't tell, there's a lot of these women that have been nipped and tucked that even you have seen, and you've said are beautiful. So I mean, they're doing their thing. They're making it look natural and being graceful. So I don't judge that. um you know, because we want to stay beautiful. There is something, and I'll be honest, there is something about having a 20-30 year old skin and it being, and then starting to look in the mirror and there's lines or wrinkles or it looks like your skin droops a little bit more, and you know, and not saying that it's starting to happen, but there is, I think in these 40s you do start to see a shift in your baby face and what your maturing face will look like. And there is definitely the gray, but I got my Beijing. I don't care what y'all say, the Beijing is gonna happen on these
What's
little
the,
spots. Huh?
what's the Beijing?
The Beijing is like it's like the little spray. It's either spray or cream, or you just put it, you know,
Oh, for the
temporary
grays?
dye. Yeah, for your
Oh, I
days.
didn't know about them. I'm gonna have to
Yeah, you
Google
just
that.
put a little Beijing on it, and then you know you good. You then you 30 again. You know what I'm saying? So I think because my grade is struggling, like I've had a little patch here since I was in high school, and so like I'll have a little patch over here, and then there'll be a little couple pieces up here that don't look fly. So I got to Beijing it out. So you know, to answer your question, I believe that there are things that start to happen when you turn 40 that make people think like, okay, yeah, my body is changing. I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel hot. I need a fan for no goddamn reason. Like like Lene sent me a fan because I would be, listen, you see, she sent me a fan, y'all. She sent me a fan because it was hot as shit in here.
Look at me, low tech.
During the show. It's hot. So I think I'm premenopausal. There's all these changes happening, similar to when we were teenagers, I think. Like you know, you it's that same kind of shift. And so
It's the
I
hormones
would
coming
say,
in and the hormones leaving.
yes, it's like there's something there is a change
It's an
happening. And
internal
so
battle, baby, an
I
internal
don't want to
battle.
listen. I just don't want to be the only one on here. I want to keep it a buck and be like when things start, little things like that start to change. It is alarming. It made me feel some type of way for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm with you, Tiara. I have a little bit here and a little bit there, but I'm gonna let it come on in. I want it to be all gray because I think that's absolutely beautiful.
You gonna be so cute with all that gray.
I
You're
will
gonna be
take
so cute. You gonna Lala, you're gonna look really good with that.
Yes.
I just
And of course,
can't.
I want it, so therefore it's growing really slow. You know, and I've got nieces and nephews who are much younger than I am and got gray, but mine is just going slow. I don't know what the role is. I guess you can't always have what you want, right? Shalay, I'm going to ask you the same question because this is something that we all face. So, like, have you felt pressure with you know how you should look, or have you even considered any kind of nipping and tucking?
I haven't considered the nipping and the tucking because I just want whatever I do to look natural, and I haven't seen anything. I'm sure I have seen things that look natural, but I just going under the knife for me. I'm like, nah, I'd rather hit the gym. I'd rather eat healthy, and I'd rather, you know, do some facial yoga or something. But I'm gonna totally 100% agree with Tiara. Like once you hit a certain point, and for some people, I don't went to high school with people, and when we were 35, it was hitting for them. So it really depends on genetics and all that kind of stuff. But especially when you're used to looking a certain way and people reacting to that, you start seeing things like, oh, that's doing this now. And this is doing this now. Now, other people may not even notice it. So Tiara, you are so 100% because I got little grays and stuff. And sometimes I dye my hair, but I generally don't dye my hair. But oh, okay, I can see this over here or that, or, you know, the energy or the damn hot flashes. Cause I am perimenopausal. I just found out in March, I'm
Me too.
perimenopausal. And all of the things in society, it's kind of like the sum of all things, right? It's the people looking at you and judging you on you always looking a certain way. That's one thing. I definitely never, I'm not at a point where I'm like, I want to go get a boob job, but I'm like, sure, it would be great if they were up there, and you know, that would be nice, but I'm not going to do that. I definitely agree with you, Dr. Lene, about I want to be presented in my most natural light. Like, I also grew up in the entertainment industry. Me and my sisters would sing, and we were professional singers, professional dancers. We were in the music industry, acting and stuff like that. And definitely, I remember when we were out there and we were young teenagers, and it was like, say you're younger than you are. And then when we got in our 20s, my mother was like, it's over for y'all. You're too old now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there is definitely this pressure, but I feel like it was more of a pressure from my mom to do things while you're young, and, oh, you've reached this point, so you can't do it now. But definitely, I am starting to see some shifts, but nothing drastic. But I'm like, okay, well, I need to prepare that in 7 years, I'm not going to look like this. And it's okay. You know, becoming okay with it is the thing that I think we as women in this gap, because we're kind of in the valley. We're still like, oh, yo, we're young, like forever 28, right? But it's like 14 years ago, I was 30. And in 14 years, I'm going to be 60. And that don't make no damn sense.
Right.
Or 58. I'm going to be 58.
I wake up often like, I don't care. Like, I will tell people, you know, my age, and I'll be fine about it. But I go, but I don't know how I got here.
It doesn't make sense, right? I don't understand the math.
I don't get it. So
Yeah.
the confusion still sets in too. But
I'm going through that right now.
Things,
I'm going through that. Like, oh my God, like how the past 14 years went by so fast.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is another thing that I don't know. We haven't really touched on it, but do any of you feel rushed? Like, oh my God, I got to do this now. I got to really rev it up now, because damn, in 14 years, I'm going to be 58 and I need to be kind of like settled into where I'm going to be. And it's a nonstop cycle.
It
Because
really is.
I remember 14 years ago feeling lost, and then and I don't know, maybe it's that every 7 years you change or whatever that thing is that they say, but it's like 14 years ago I was feeling lost. Like, who am I? I'm becoming this woman. I'm trying this, I'm trying that, but I'm also in a space right now where I'm like, okay, who am I becoming? Like, what is it that I need to do? What is that next step? What does this mean? Like, what does it mean for my love life? Look, I kind of want to pick up and move to another state. What does that mean? Oh shoot, I'm scared to do that. Like, it's an ever evolving process.
Some really good questions, and I think that when we come back from this break, we're going to answer some of those.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
we'll be
Shalay.
right
We're
back.
claiming it. 2025 is your year for home ownership, and we are going to get you to that goal. Who's we? Fly Nubian Money Club and me, Laura Lala Key, international real estate agent, and we have a wonderful session for you about how to get you started on the path to home ownership. We'll cover the steps. We'll answer a lot of the questions that most people have, because when you are educated about this process, it makes it more fun and a little easier than if you step into it without knowing anything. I can't wait to spend some time with you to get your juices flowing and to get the excitement flowing, because 2025 is your year. Make sure that you come to this class and you invite someone else, because it really is important to own your own piece of land. I look forward to seeing you. Bye.
Mama, I want to be a part of the club.
Yes, you gotta join the Fly Nubian Money Club, girl. Or the Fly Money.
And we are going to be exploring home ownership and getting you some land, because, baby, you're going to need it. And it is a great place to start for you to build your wealth. So December 7th. And if you want to join us, you have to go to flynubianmoneyclub.com to sign up. But listen, don't hoard all that information to yourself. Get somebody else to sign up with you. You're supposed to bring somebody along with you. So if you had any of those questions, and I'm going to be teaching you a lot of things that you might not have even been thinking about. And we're also going to have a bonus section. Hint, 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 hint. Not telling you. So guess you got to come and find out. So make sure you sign up today at flynubianmoneyclub.com. Now listen, Shalay brought up a really good question, and we're kind of winding down on time, so I want kind of a rapid response. She brought up the fact that at this point in our life, we may feel like we're rushed on things. Now, where are we at this point? Do we feel like we have to speed things up, or do we feel like we're comfortable at the speed we're living life right now? And I'm going to start with you, Dr. Lene. What are your thoughts about that? Are you feeling that way in your life?
I wouldn't say speed up. I was that, but yes, but I wouldn't say speed up. So at 48, I know I want to retire at 60. I have 12 years to make it do what it's going to do. Also, to her point, I feel like I'm just meeting myself, like the me I was born to be. I feel like I'm just meeting her, and she hasn't even reached her pinnacle yet, right? So yes, it does feel kind of like a speed up, but I don't know if it's more of a speed up as much as it is a lean in. Like, this is your last 12 years. You need to lean in. You have reached who you feel like you should be. And by that, I mean, you have all the skill set. You know how to use what you have. You trust yourself. You are capable. Lean into her so that she can go and do what needs to get done. So that's why I don't know if I would say rush, but definitely lean in, and you got it. Like, let's make it do. You got 12 years. We are retiring at 60. And by retiring, I mean flying around the country, speaking, teaching. Like, that's my retirement, but not this hard work where I'm still feel like I'm trying to get it.
Right. I will say for me, I do kind of feel like I need to speed things up only because I lost my mother, and my mother was in her early 60s. Okay. Then I lost my birth mother. She didn't even make it to 60. I lost my dad. He was 63. So there is a part of that in me, not that I'm claiming that, but there's a part of that in me that recognizes that. So I want to be able to do certain things if by chance that's when the Lord wants to take me. But I don't have a feeling that he is, but there's just something in me that wants a goal of something to say, I did this by this age. I made it past this hump. I want to use that as a guide to be able to achieve some things. And it's just a goal timeline. What about you, Tiara?
Yeah, there's some things that I feel like I have not accomplished yet, and I'm still very much on my trajectory. If I'm being honest, when I was 25, I had just come off a tour, and one of the people that I got advice from was Blair Underwood, and he was like, you need to learn how to direct and produce, and you gotta. And I had just moved to Hollywood to act and sing. That was it. Like, I was like, I'm gonna just do this. But when I got here, he told me that, and I took that and I ran with it, and I went and I learned how to produce film and television. I learned how to do all of these things that really wasn't on my bingo card. I listened, and thankfully I did listen to him, because the blessing that I got is I'm so well-rounded and I could put all of these skills together. But I guess there was a part of me that ran away from my initial intention. And so I feel like now I want to put it all together. So making an album and getting back on television, writing things for television, like really just going. And then the business is different now. So it's not the same business that it was when I got here. So it's like navigating through that, and what does it look like for me to come back to television? What does that look like? And so I if I'm being honest, I think that I still want all the smoke, but I think it's gonna look different. And I don't necessarily, so hopefully I have time to put it all together and kind of navigate it. I feel like God is going to replace those years that I feel like I lost kind of running around listening to other people tell me what I should do, right? Like, I work with Les Brown. He was like, you should become a speaker. I was like, okay, Les Brown told me I should become a speaker, so I should become a speaker, and I did, and I've been speaking, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I had to stop listening to really famous people telling me things that they thought that I should do, because I just had to start listening to me. So to answer your question, Lala, I prayerfully, I still get these next years to figure it out because my work is not done.
Mm.
Yes, and I think that's a really important message just right there. Your work is not done. And I think that that is one thing I think we've all been able to express to those who are here. We've had such great comments, and we appreciate all of your comments, and we love the love that you're sending us to. We've seen a couple of the guys say love our show. We love you too. We're so grateful you're here. We've had other ladies chime in what their experiences are and giving us their good tips on what they're doing to live their best life while we're here in this age. But it is actually time for us to wind down. I just had so much fun with this, guys. I feel like sometimes you just need to sit down with your girlfriends.
Yes.
Know that you are not alone,
Yeah.
that you are sharing and you can sow into one another. And you got, not by myself. You mean I'm burning up and got heat cut? My glasses fogging up for no reason. Like these are the things we definitely need to share with one another. But it is actually time for us to wind down. Final thoughts and where we can find you. So we'll start with you, Chalet. What is your final thoughts? Maybe advice for someone around this age, and where can we find you?
So, final thoughts. Like Tiara just hit on all the points, right? Because I'm kind of in that space, right? And I'm in that space of all of the talents and everything that I've always had within me. It's like the seed is always there. And the seed wants to become a tree, and focusing on actually becoming who we're supposed to be and leaning into that, like Dr. Lene said. And it brings to mind something that Miles Monroe said. And this is something that I want to do with my life. And this is something that I kind of remind myself daily. Live full and die empty. I want to pour it all out. And I feel like I'm more confident now than ever in my life to go back and write those songs and to write those plays. Tiara, we need to talk, okay? And to do those productions. And I just want to live full and die empty. Lala, I totally relate with you. I'm so hyper aware of my mortality because my mom died at 56, my dad died at 59. And I do feel that rush, but I've always kind of felt it. But my advice would be some advice that I give myself. Slow down, enjoy the moment, live in the present, and be intentional, and just live full and die empty. Pour it all out before our clock runs out.
I love that. Pour it all out. That means you can pour your blessings on someone else. I always like to say that you got to empty your hands. You can't get all in blessings if they're too full. But if you empty them into others, that's an additional blessing, right? So Dr. Lene, where can we find you and what are your final thoughts?
So I would say that when I was younger, I wasn't deathly afraid of getting older, but people made it seem like it was going to be this crazy thing. You looked at 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds like, oh my God, they're old. And now that I'm 48, pushing on 50, I'm like, I'm just getting started. The goal is to age. The goal is to get older, right? So instead of fighting getting older, do it with style and grace. I'm in the gym. I'm doing over 10,000 steps a day. You see my little muscle coming in right there. I'm more in tune with me, with who I am, with what I want, and I'm okay with it. I talk to myself nicer. I give myself more grace. I push myself in a way. I push back on that negative self-talk when it comes up at me, because we have been with each other, with ourselves, for however old you are. That's how long you've been with you. So every trial, every tribulation, everything that worked, everything that didn't work, every bad choice and decision, everything you said you was going to start and you didn't do, all of that stuff is in your mind. It's in your brain. And it will try to trick you into thinking that you have not accomplished something, that you have not reached a goal, that you have not gotten to a place where you should be. And as you age, you will start looking at your life as either a hindrance and with regrets, or you will look at it as, I still have time to accomplish, to achieve, to do the things that I'm supposed to do. And that is how I have finally turned my life into doing. At 12 years old, I had the desire to become a PhD, to become a doctor. I didn't know what kind of doctor. At 47, I got it done. 35 years later. When I tell you, I feel like I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. And I would just like that to be my ministry for anybody out there who is over 35, over 40, hell, over 50. it's not too late. It's never too late. Whatever it is that you're saying that you want to do, whatever it is that you're saying you want to accomplish, however much money you want to make, whoever you want to date, wherever you want to move, wherever you want to travel, there is still time. I am Dr. Lene Javette. You can find me at thebrilliantstrategist.com. That is not my main email. What I did do was create a link tree with all of my stuff on there. So my website, my business, my freebies, my social media, everything that you need to work with me is at thebrilliantstrategist.com.
That's your assignment. We give you homework. Go ahead and make sure you go and stalk her up, love her up, get on over there and get all the things that she has so that you too can live a wonderful life. And you know, these connections are very, very important. So, Tiara, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Yeah, I've had a really interesting week. As you know, as you all probably know by now, I lost my very good sister friend, Taisha Brown, this week. She was a filmmaker and just a person that I talk to literally every day or every other day for the last 19 years of my life. And so when I think about the things that we used to discuss, and last night I was crying and looking through our messages and, you know, and I realized that we had done so many things. Sometimes like our brain it plays tricks on us to think like we haven't been accomplishing, we haven't been in it. We are so far from where we want to be. And once I started looking through, I said, oh my God, oh my God. And then she sent me this and I sent her that. She was like my ride or die in Hollywood. So we was sending scripts back and forth to each other. I mean, plays, scripts, pitch decks. I mean, I got a interview this week with Oprah. It was like there has been so many things that I had done, and it really made me step back and really appreciate my journey and appreciate the people that are here with me. So I would just say in these final thoughts, first of all, rest in peace, Taisha Brown. I probably say that for the next several days on this podcast because I will miss her. But also, thank you for reminding me that there's so many things that I have done and I have accomplished so much already, right? And so I just want to say that and tell myself I'm proud of you for that. But also, for anyone who is watching and like Dr. Lene said, feels like they didn't get to do their big thing or the thing that God gave them, or maybe you've been living for other people, or maybe you've been doing things because society told you to do it. I would just say the most freeing thing that I probably discovered was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And I think at the time I was like 38 producing reality TV. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what is this? What? Right. And so the minute I decided to put it down, literally within the 2 years of that, I had sold a screenplay to Universal. Like God just opens it up. When you make a decision and say like, I'm going to do what you told me to do. Right. So I would just say, listen to that voice that was silenced when you were young, those things that you wanted to do when you were younger that you have not done. Just do that. Doing that, making that decision to do that has given me so much life. Y'all, I be in these like sexy girl classes rotating. Y'all gonna see when y'all follow me at Miss Black Hollywood. I be doing all the things lately, baby. I was like, you know what? Let me take this little sexual class. Like I be just out here living. So y'all live. Please live. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood. And if you want to come see me rotate this body, I'm at Miss Black Hollywood singing and dancing. And I don't know. I'm just out here living shit. Come join me. Come on.
She said gyrating. She got that gyrating.
I forgot to say where you can find me. I was caught up in. So you can find me at Chalet Camilla on IG, vitalsourcerealty.com. If you're looking to purchase a home anywhere in the United States, I can help you do that and connect you with an awesome real estate agent in your area. And if you're in Lala's area, we'll be connecting you to Lala.
Yes. Now, but Tiara, you didn't say where we can find you.
Oh, I did at Miss Black Hollywood. But y'all, join the Fly Nubian Money Club, because
Yes.
I want to get y'all these resources.
How
Listen,
do I
I
join?
want to get y'all these. I really do want to make sure that next year you level up. We're going to find loopholes. We're going to figure out how to really get your money right in all the ways. So join the investment club, because it's popping.
And I'm
Where do we do
excited.
that?
Fly Nubian Money. Oh, the Fly Nubian Money Club. Gwen, put the banner in there. FlyNubianMoneyClub.com, baby.
Love it. And we're going to be kicking that off strong. So listen, it's really hard for me to give you my final thoughts when I know that Dr. Lene and Tiara have said exactly what I'm actually living right now. And what made me really see that you don't really think that you have tomorrow is the fact that I've lost both of my sisters. They were killed by a drunk driver on January 15, 2023, full of life, in their 40s. And I have video of my sister going on a zip line challenge, filming herself, literally filming herself going down a zip line over trees and bushes and stuff, talking about woohoo! And she is having such a wonderful time that it reminds me that I too must experience this life the way that I am supposed to live it. And that means walking in my purpose. So it's never too late for you. I'm 54. I'm traveling the world. I'm singing around the world. This past summer, I sang in Morocco and Spain and in Portugal. This next summer, it may be London. It may be Paris. It may be France. But it's going to happen because that is my life purpose. And being able to share music with others and uplift their life is something that is very important to me. I've been doing it since I was 3 years old, but this time I'm actually doing it shaking in my boots for a purpose instead of just saying that it's something that I do on the side. It is a part of me. So whatever it is for a part of you, tap into it and do it. Do not be on the side of I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda, because you can't get that time back. Just go ahead and take that first step and do it. And you can find me at bit.ly/Laura Key info, just like Dr. Lene. I have all of my resources there. So you ain't even got to go to all many different places. Just go there. And then you make sure that you sign up for the Fly Nubian Money Club.com so that you can get in on these wonderful classes. Ladies, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm just like pretty giddy right now in the fact that we have spent some very quality time together. And I feel like with our viewership as well. And if you're in the viewing audience, you see how we connect here. You've been here long enough. Most of you have been here long enough to know that we all have a connection and we're here for you. We are sharing our experiences and the things that are going on in the world so that you can step into your power. So if you have a business, here are people who are looking for you. Why don't you go ahead and partner with us? We go live 5 days a week. And we do that at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, dedicated every day, Monday through Friday. And so we have a large platform for you to get your business seen. And guess what? Your audience is within our audience. You know, you having a good time. They looking for you, you looking for them. So all you have to do is to email us at info@realvirtual.net. And in the subject line, all you have to do is put in Fly Nubian Money ad, and we'll be happy, more than happy, to send over our ad rates for you. We would love for you to partner with us. We can't wait to see what you're building and creating because this is your house too. All right? We had such an important conversation. I'm glad we did. But we will be here tomorrow, this Thanksgiving week. So I urge you to right now stop for a few minutes after we stop our show and write down 3 things, just 3 things that you are grateful for in this moment right now. And it could just be maybe you happy you had breakfast this morning, but a part of your life is gratitude, because when you tap into that gratitude, things start happening. We will see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Bye, y'all.